It's now time for the Eld Henderson Real News Show, Organize, Don't Criticize, which airs each Wednesday evening from 6 o'clock p.m. until 7 o'clock p.m. here on WMPR. We now take you to Studio B for the Eld Henderson Real News Show, Organize, Don't Criticize with Dr. Henderson.
Hello, everybody. This is the Eld Henderson's Real News Show, Organize, Don't Criticize. I want to tell you, folks, I want you to buy my book by the same title, Organize, Don't Criticize, at Amazon.com. You need to learn how to pool your resources, build coalitions, and promote unity with self, family, and community. Your life will change in 30, 60, or 90 days, guaranteed. Organize, Don't Criticize, Amazon.com. That's the book of the century. Buy it today. Hello, everybody. This is, again, the Eld Henderson Real News Show, the only place you get the real news every time. Nothing but facts, no opinions, no hearsay. We give you information that will help you change your status in this world. We tell you things that can put money in your pocket. We talk about things that you can do for yourself that will get you involved in government, politics, and religious institutions where you'll be in a leadership position. All you have to do, folks, is listen, take notes, record what we say, and then act on it. And at the same time, before you start acting 100%, you need to get that book, Organize, Don't Criticize. And read that book, folks, so you can understand the significance of having the ability to change. And when you read our book, Organize, Don't Criticize, everything you need to know about education and training, economic development, politics, religion, and leadership will be found there step by step, telling you what to do, when to do, how to do it, and how to be in a position of responsibility. And that's what you need to do. You ought to be tired of being in the majority in many areas, and you don't do nothing but follow. You have the skills, but you don't have the will to learn what you need to learn and then take action and determine your destiny from birth to death. That's what we do, folks. We take the hard road and tell you things that others think about and say in private. We talk about it in public. And again, today, my topic is, we call it today's topic, Strategies to Guide Female Investing. Strategies to Guide Female Investing. This is a serious topic, folks. And some of you are going to be alarmed at the research that we have that will tell you that females in America, especially black females, have some problems that must be addressed, or the whole group, so-called black group in America, going to be relegated to relocation camps, dirty ghettos with one way in and one way out. And when they go in the ghetto, they're going to have to go through a gate and show a pass. When they come out, they're going to have to show the police a pass saying, I live behind these walls. You don't believe me, ladies and gentlemen, but if you continue to do what you are doing, let others determine your destiny in those areas that I mentioned, you are going to be living in a third grade environment in part of what we call the richest nation in the world. And you will be insignificant. You don't believe me, of course. And that's why, folks, we're going to talk about strategies to guide female investing. And a lot of you will probably say to yourself, what is he talking about that for? We don't have no problem there. Black females are doing well. Well, I'm going to let you hear the facts. And then you tell me, because we're going to allow you to call us after the break. and ask a question, not to make any comments, but ask a question if you want to. And we're going to give you the number prior to the break, not now because some of you will be calling before the break. So let's look at understanding basic investing for black women in America. Now, some of these same strategies could be used by males in our country. But today I'm concerned about females because they have more responsibility than any group in America, of any race, of any religion. The poor black female is catching the devil in America. And when I say catching the devil, I'm not talking about all of them, about 90% of them. And the problem is this, folks, and I want you all to take notes on this, record it, do whatever you want to do. And then when you hear this information, don't feel bad. If you are not guilty or if you don't have any relatives that fall in this category, you don't have anything to worry about. And if you do have relatives and friends that's going to be falling in these categories that I'm talking about tonight, do something about it because I am going to tell you what you can do to help this situation. Now, the first thing that we must understand is that investing is crucial for black women in America. Now, here's bad news. Some say it's not bad news. I say it's bad news. And this is the fact. A high percentage of black women between the ages of 18 and 35 will not have a husband during their lifetime, but many will have children to support. And I'm like the old country preacher. I'm going to say it again. A high percentage of black women, almost 50%, between the ages of 18 and 35 will not have a husband or a partner during their lifetime, but many will have children. Really, the research said most, but I left that out. Now, let me tell you what the problem is and why it's essential that we must dive into investing. And when I say we, I'm talking about our wives, our sisters, our aunts, and so forth. They must dive into the world of investing because there are some simple facts, I call them essential facts, that we must understand. Now, here's what these people are saying. The females say it, the poor black man says it, and they say something like, every time I talk to them, is, I'm afraid I might make some mistakes. Some say, if I invest, my money will be tied up. Others say, a good advisor is hard to find. A good advisor is hard to find. Others will say, I don't know enough about investing. That's why you're listening to the Henderson Real News Show. I'm going to tell you how to do it. Others will say, I don't have time. I don't have enough time. And that's why you're broke, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of you don't have time to manage your money properly. You don't want to learn anything. You want to go and spend it all and live check to check. Every month, you spend everything you make. And the other complaint and concern that I found through research, that a lot of you all are saying, I don't have enough money to invest. And the last one, when you say all those things, you're going to feel, and I'm talking about females now, they're going to say, I don't worry about investing because somebody's going to be watching over me. Folks and ladies, 18 to 35, if you believe that, you got to think coming. You better start thinking about the real fact. That's why I'll tell you, this is the Real News Show. I'm telling you now how to organize so you don't have to criticize others and be begging all your life. Now, here is the biggest myth, that women don't have to worry about money. That's a myth. Women don't have to worry about money. They really do. And here are the facts. Now, some of you all don't believe this, folks, but since I'm not the only one in the Henderson PCAP team, not the only ones that can do research, we want to tell you the real fact here. And of course, if you know anybody like this, you say, that's a problem. We've got three facts that I'm going to share with you right now. And the first one is 20% of all women in America never marry. I say all women, all groups, all races, all religious areas are considered. 20% of all women never marry in America. The other thing that a lot of us don't want to address and don't believe, and I know this for a fact, is 49% of first and 51% of second marriages end in divorce. So the 49% of you all and the 51% that are married the second time going to be divorced. 49 the first time, that's almost half of you going to be divorcing. Those that are smart enough and good enough to get that second marriage or the third one, 51% of those going to end in divorce. And the bad part, and this is the real alarming situation, 75% of married women are eventually widowed. That means their husband or their partner died. That's for 75% of married women. And usually, when you've been married 1, 2, and 3 times, and you get to be old and you're a widower, you can hardly find a husband when you pass 75, unless you're rich. And sometimes you don't have the mental ability then to know that you're rich and to know that you need a mate. So here are some of the facts now that you must consider for these women, for your cousins, your mothers, and your aunts and so forth, men and women. The fact you must consider is investing will help these women achieve financial independence. And that's why in just a few minutes, I'm going to share with them exactly what they need to invest in. And I told you, men, you could do the same. You don't want the women to out-invest you, do you? Investing will help these women achieve financial independence. And investing can help them secure their futures. And when I'm talking about their futures, since most of them are going to have children, especially those from 18 to 35, they're going to have children. And then that 75% of the married women that are eventually widowed, they are usually called senior citizens. And guess who they have? The 18 to 35 group in their family and their children too. And they are so-called retired, living on that little pension, if they have one, and that $800 to $1,100 Social Security check. And that's all. And if you think about investing, females, you'll find that you will be contributing positively to the economy. You're building America. You're building the state of Mississippi. You're putting money in the treasury. And if you invest, folks, you'll be putting your money in areas where it will grow. You will have income coming in, or you have both. Most good investments are called growth investment. You're going to have income coming, usually once a month, sometime every 3 months. So you can find, when you start looking at the reality, instead of spending all your money, saying that you don't have the time, I don't have enough money, I have too many bills, you will always get worse financially if you don't invest. Now, the good news is that, believe it or not, when you look at the fact, as of 2025, women possess more wealth than ever before in America. The women in America hold approximately 32% of the world's wealth. Now, that means right here in Mississippi. This is the richest nation in the world, Mississippi, the South, and the other states in America. Money flows everywhere. And of course, if you don't invest and have anything going and got all these other problems that I addressed, you're going to think you are headed to that relocation camp that I mentioned. You are going to be saying, I better invest now because my investment will prosper over time because I'm going to learn how to manage my money. I'm not going to spend it all. Last week, I was telling you, some of you all just enjoy spending your money on the wrong thing. Too many vacations. If you have to borrow money to go on a vacation, you can't afford to go. If you have to go and lease your car, rent your car, or leave it at the pay station and get $1,400 on a new car, you don't need a vacation. If you have to go and beg your relatives to pay for your way when you go on that cruise and you're going to pay them back, you're not in a position to go on that vacation. So in order to have the monies you need, I want you to think about this. Take notes on this now. This is very important. I'm going to show you and tell you, ladies and gentlemen, especially females, the type of investments that you should consider. But always keep in mind that no matter what investment you have, they all have what we call unique characteristics. There are going to be some benefits and there are going to be some risk. But I guarantee you, if you pay attention today, I'm going to talk about so many investments that you can get in, and there's no way you can lose. Because if one is at the low interest per month or per 3-month period, the other is going to be high. And in the end, if you have most of the investments that I'm talking about, just a few of each, every year you have anywhere from 8 to 13 or 14% interest on your investments. Now, some of you don't believe it, and the reason you don't believe it, you don't do anything but listen to people that don't know what they're talking about and don't spend your money wisely. You do some of the other things I just got through talking about. But now here are 5 or 6 different type of investments that I want you all to consider, folks. And the first one, and you've heard it many times, stock, S-T-O-C-K-S. Now these are known as equities or stocks that represents ownership in a company. When you buy a stock in Coca-Cola, in Walmart, Amazon, and all these other areas, you are essentially buying a small portion of that company. And I guarantee you, Coca-Cola, Amazon, the big real estate companies that invest in big box businesses, the airports, the airline people, the energy people that's selling you all that phone energy for your house, your car insurance and all of that, those guys are making all kinds of money, and that's where you buy your stock. Now, there's another investment that's called bonds, and bonds are debt securities issued by the government or big companies to raise capital. Suppose one of the big companies called the Gentech Company in Jackson, Mississippi, want to raise $15 million in 30 days. All they're going to do is raise this money and tell you to buy a bond from this company. And you're essentially lending your money to this new company that's already done the research, and they can see that in 1 year, they'll probably make a profit of $10 million and pay you back every 3 months or so much every month. That's a great deal. You need to think about it. And the good news about all of these investments that I'm going to share with you today, many are not very high value for each stock. $10, $50, $75, and some are higher. But you invest according to what you have. The other area that most of you heard about, but you don't do anything about it, is invested in real estate. And I'm not talking about buying and owning and flipping homes. That's for one with the knowledge to know how to do that and could do some of the work. I'm talking about investing in these big rental properties that businesses are set up to manage. That's the kind of real estate you want to get in. The other important investment for those that are listening are mutual funds. And mutual funds are investment vehicles, folks, that you pool your money with others, and all of you all invest in what we call diversified portfolios in stocks and bonds and other securities. Big companies, might be 15 big companies all over America. And you put your money in those things with other people, whole groups of people that work at churches, schools, businesses, put their money there with yours and buy those stocks. And folks, this is called a mutual fund, more than one, pooling the resources, sort of like organize, don't criticize, where you pool your collective efforts and you do things that are insignificant. Now, here's something else. Another area of investment is exchange traded funds. They call them ETFs. And these are like mutual funds, but they are traded on an exchange. They offer flexibility and diversification on a mutual exchange. Big Bill, Wall Street. That's the place you're going to get eventually when you start investing $2,000 and $3,000 a month in these securities. And then there's another one called commodities. And commodities are physical assets, ladies and gentlemen, such as gold, oil, agriculture products that can be invested through what we call future contracts. How do you think the farmers make their money? On projections. They know if the weather's good, they're going to sell $200,000 or $300,000 worth of peanuts, milk, butter, cattle, pigs, chicken, and so forth. And the banks know that too. So the bank's going to give them that money. And then you can buy the bank stock because when the farmers sell their product, they're going to pay their bill and the bank will get their pay and you'll get yours too. So there is nothing but opportunity. Opportunities everywhere for you. And if you want to invest in stock, bonds, real estate, mutual funds, exchange traded funds, or commodities, you need to start doing what I'll be telling you in a few minutes, doing the research to find out the simple way to do it. And my job is to tell you how to do it if you want to know it. And of course, the number to call us if you want information on this and anything else you hear on this show is 601-201-1957. You see the number there. Or you can email us at clu369@gmail.com. Folks, it's not a sin to be poor, but it's a sin to know how to get rich and you don't take advantage of it. I call that learning to live in heaven on earth. I surely rather live in heaven on earth than to take a chance of dying and going to hell and never had a heavenly experience. Folks, that is bad to say, but since it's a fact, I'm going to say it anyhow. Matter of fact, you heard me. I just said it. Now let's look at something else that scares a lot of people. And I'm looking at my producer now. My producer is saying, well, it's getting close to that break, and it is. So I want you to understand something called risk and return. Risk and return. All investment carries some risk, folks, some level of risk. Sometimes the business will go out of business. It'll fail. They'll file bankruptcy, and they can't pay the people that invested. They're protected by the court to give them a chance to rebuild, get their credibility to the point, get their finance to the point where they can make a profit and pay you. So that means your money is sort of like on hold. It's still good if they don't go out of business. But if they go and get that bankruptcy filed and just hold on for 6 months or a year, many times they will come back. So you can find that investment with almost anything, you would have some potential return, but this potential return comes with high risk, a high level of risk. And I always like risk. I like to take a chance because I know if I'm in a position where I know there's a bag of gold on the other side of the alligator pond, you all heard me say that before, I will jump in that pond with all those alligators and fight with them until I get on the other side. And if they bite me and I can't get to the other side, I beg and holler and squall and tell somebody to throw me the rope and get me back up in here on the bank. And the next time I'll jump in there and the alligator's going to be waiting for me. And you heard this story before. I'll jump in there and jump on their backs and walk across the ocean to the other side and get that bag of money. You didn't heard that story. That's a true story. If you give up the first time just because you got your tail bit and don't go back anymore, you won't ever get anywhere. You got to learn how to ride the alligator's back. Take a chance and jump to the other side. Get that bag of gold. Get that investment. I know we're going to be having a break pretty soon. Producer, how many minutes we have? How many? Okay, we can take a break now, folks. Got 1 minute, I'm telling you right now. So if you find that you understand in risk and return, don't worry about it. If you have your diversified investments in 5 or 6 different areas, you're not going to go broke, folks. You're still going to have some money coming in, even though stocks are considered high risk. But the potential is great. We're going to take this break right now, and we're going to ask you if you have a question or two, you call us after the break with a question. I don't want no preliminary introduction to a thesis where you're trying to tell me you don't like what you just heard. You tell me that tomorrow when you call me at 601-201-1957. If you want to learn something today, you learn.
Plan today, protect tomorrow. Life is full of uncertainties, but your family's future doesn't have to be. Having life insurance, a will, and a trust in place is one of the most powerful acts of love and responsibility you can give to your loved ones. Life insurance provides financial security for your family when they need it most. Will ensures your wishes are honored and your assets go where you intend. Trust offers added protection and peace of mind by safeguarding your legacy. Don't wait until it's too late. Start preparing today so your family is protected tomorrow. Need guidance? Contact Dr. Eldridge Henderson at 601-201-11957 to learn more about how to get started. Dr. Henderson is available for speaking engagements. Like and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Now back to our show.
Okay, thank you, folks. You heard it. You heard the real news again. We're available for public speaking events. If you need a speaker, folks, I must tell you, you ought to try someone new sometime that can give you the same information that's better than what you heard last year and year before last. We have a speakers bureau at the PCAP Media Group. These are keynote speakers. I'm included. I'm one of them. And we will go to any staff development at a school or church, family reunion, conference, or even at a community organization. And as long as we know we're going to have 5 to 1,000 folks there, we'll go. We're not like some people. You don't have to have a big number. If you have a need for a speaker with 5 individuals in your group or organization at your church or student affair, whatever it is, some of us will show up. If you have 1,000, somebody will show up. Because those folks in the PCAP Media Group, they're always talking about the following: adult education and educational programs for dropouts and non-traditional students. They talk about business startups, how to get that 501c3 so you can get that ability to get some of that grant money. And those folks at 501c3 talking about that will teach you how to write grants to get some of that money. And I've been telling you all for at least 30 years, there's so much grant money out there until you wouldn't believe when you hear that there are approximately $600 billion available in the United States, Canada, and Europe. And if you have a nonprofit organization and learn how to write a grant, you can get some of that money. And grants usually are large, small, and medium. You can get 5, 10 million. You can get $500 or $2,000 grants. You can get $200,000 and $300,000 grants. It all depends on your organization's goal and goals and strategies. Goals, mission, and objectives. It all depends on your mission. The things you say you are going to do. And you have to get this business organized through your state's Secretary of State's office. That's what it's called in Mississippi. We call other things in other states. So it means you have to register and you have to get something called an identification number. Some people call it the EIN. That's called the business number, so they don't have to use your Social Security, and let your business be responsible for things and not you as an individual. So when you do this, folks, you know then that you're in a position where you can do something. And I want all of you to start thinking about this. If you're 18 years of age or older, you ought to start thinking about getting your business started. And you engage in anything you know a lot about. That's what you start your business in. And then you start thinking about investing. Now, I'm going to make it easy, folks, for you, because I'm going to tell you how simple it is to do investing. Now, I'm talking about anyone now, females especially, of course, because they have all the responsibility. And later on, I'm going to be telling you why females must start investing, because there are some things that are being hidden that people don't like to talk about females in Mississippi, in the South, the nation, and the world. And I'm going to talk about it this evening so you can say, I got something else to criticize him about. But before we get to that, let's start talking about how you start investing. It's very simple, folks. There are 5 steps to start investing for males or females. And the first thing you want to do, or you have to do, is set your financial goals. You must say to yourself, what do I want to achieve through investment? Do I want to invest savings for retirement? Do I want to invest a down payment for a home? Or do I want to go and start me a big business? I've been working for other folks in management for 25 or 30 years. I'm a vice president now. I know all about company finance. I know about customer relations. I have good skills on the computer. And we found out last week that our company made $80 million during the last 3 months. And they're not paying me but $50,000 a year. Now, something wrong with that. So I'm just going to gradually get my business started. Use some of the customers that I'm dealing with at this current company. And then I'm going to get with the bosses and we're going to do a contract. And I'm going to be accept Lisa with the clients that they have. And he's going to give me 2 or 3% of his clients because they know I had a good history of working at this company for 25 or 30 years. So that's the first thing you want to do. You don't act a fool and get mad, ladies and gentlemen, then quit because you don't like what's going on at your office or your workplace. The person that does that is a fool. I'm going to tell you right now, you don't ever quit a job. You let them fire you. I heard somebody say that today. I heard a lawyer said it on the Wednesday morning show on WMPR. His name was Brett Hassett. He's exactly right. He was talking to an attorney, and they were saying, no matter how bad it is on the job, you don't quit. You sit around there and let them fire you. And then you get unemployment and start your own business, spend that money. And the other thing you have to understand when you are getting started to invest is that you have to have access to your risk tolerance. Cannot tolerate having less money for 6 months or for 1 year. You most certainly can, because if you don't have it, you would be a fool to go and borrow some money, just live with what you have, cut down on your expenses. And I told you and been telling for years, sell that old big house you have. Your your children have left. So why you want to do it? We have a call coming in. Okay, call at 769-257-5211. I'm going to give you the live call to make, the number to call if you want to call within the next few minutes. 769-257-5211. If you have any comments, that's going to be addressed on our Facebook and YouTube channel, and also heard at WMPR 90.1 FM. Okay, go ahead, caller. Do you have a statement? You have a statement or question? What do you have for us today?
I have a question.
Go ahead, sir.
Yes, Dr. Henderson, how do you identify what's a high-risk stock?
It's very simple. You go to the computer and put the name of the stock in the computer and ask to get a status report of that stock. Then you get on the telephone and call some stock investors and ask them about it. And then you talk to your friends that you know been invested for a long time and ask them about the status of that investment. You want to go at least 3 different ways, but you got to take a chance on starting and not worrying about the risk. You say, I'm going to invest $30,000 in the next 30 years in stocks and bonds. I'm going to start with $25 per stock. Find some that's possibly going to make some money and invest small. That is one of the first things you have to consider. We call it starting small, where you start in small companies, small investments, and you gradually increase your portfolio as you make money over time. You think you can work with that caller?
I can. And one other question.
Yes, sir.
For people like myself who may not be well educated on stock or how you go about it, are there consultants out there that can coach you into making what you believe are good decisions?
Yes. Now, let me tell you, the simple way to do that is to do research. But the best way to do it, if you live anywhere in the world, you can call us. Now, we are not stock investors. We are stock educators. I can tell you or give you the information you need. If you call us at 601-201-1957, I can tell you what are some of the best strategies you can use to get the appropriate investment, starting small, and then you can move forward from there. Because if you listen to someone that knows something about it, and then do the research and study and learn and train yourself by going to the best university in the world, and my favorite university is Google University. Anything you don't know, you can type it in Google and say, teach me how to be a beginning stock investor, and type in YouTube. And 200 people will come up there and tell you how to invest. But you want to start with beginning. Then in a few weeks, you want to type in how to invest as an immediate investor. Then in another 2 or 3 months, you type in how to invest as an advanced investor in stocks, bonds, real estate. Man, you're not going to even hear this and find this at a big university, the stuff that I'm telling you now. You could major in real estate or investment, and what I'm telling you today, in 1 hour, they'll talk to you about a whole 3 or 4 months. And you'll get out of school with a C average and won't even know nothing about investment. But if you call us at 601-201-1957, caller, we can tell you how to move and how to move fast and start small. We'll tell you how to open a brokerage account. We'll tell you how to choose the best investment. And we'll tell you, first of all, how to set that goal. For the rest of you that want to call us, thank you, caller. You can call us now at 769-257-5211, because I want to tell you Later on, we're going to take one more call, and I'm going to tell you then how we can get back to this fact to help the black females that won't ever get married because they don't have a mate. We're going to do that. So that's what I want you all to keep in mind, folks. When you start investing, you've got to set your goals. You have to access the risk tolerance of the investment. You have to choose the right investment, and you have to open the brokerage account, and you have to start small. That's what you do. That's what you do, folks. And if you do that, I guarantee you, you will live long. You have money in the bank. And I told the caller that there are certain things you have to do too. And here's some tips that I'm going to be telling you that's listening that won't be able to call today. If you want some investing tips and some of the best practices, here's some things you need to keep in mind. And you heard me say part of it is you need to educate yourself. We call it continuous learning. Learn about investing and what we call personal finance. How can I invest? How can I enhance my personal finance? See, I have all this money in the bank, 30,000 here, my checking account, 200,000 in my savings account. Got it all messed up. I loaned $30,000 to my brother. My sister is in school and she spent all her financial aid. And I gave her 10,000. She's gonna pay me back, which she's not. Hell, she ain't gonna be able to pay her student loan. So, folks, I want to tell you. So, if you want to get away from these traps, the best thing is to educate yourself. Avoid emotional decision making. Told you for years, stay away from loaning your money to friends and relatives. Then you're going to diversify your portfolio. That means you spread your investments across a lot of different classes of stocks and bonds and so forth. And then once you're going to educate yourself, you'll learn how to monitor your accounts because sometimes these stocks and bonds and financial advisors charge a lot of fees. They might charge you 1.5% of anything you receive. You can learn how to avoid fees if you educate yourself. So I'm going to tell you, folks, everything you hear is something that you ought to consider keeping in mind. And one of the most important things is you don't put all your eggs in one basket. You've heard that all your life. Diversify your portfolio, and that can keep you from significant losses. And stop trying to time the market. If you try to time the market and outwit those folks, you're wasting your time. You just put that $50 in every month in 4 or 5 different accounts. And you then will say, I'm headed in the right direction. And if you need additional help, then you go to the computer, type in financial advisors, find some and do the research on them and see how long they've been in business. And these are professionals who can help you personalize your investment. So I want you to call us if you want to give us a question. 769-257-5211. I'm going to give it to you again. 769-257-5211. Call us. We want to call. Now, if you want to go on and hear some other information about investing resources, they have something called online brokerage. And these are investments that's offered on the computer, where you look at the platforms and the tools you need in order to do that. They also have something called investment apps. And these are mobile apps that allow you to invest on the go while you're taking a break. You can pull up your phone and type in investment apps. And then if you have time, you can sit around at home and at work when you don't have anything to do and pull up some financial websites. And they'll tell you everything you need to know about investment news, analysis, and investment education. So in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, now this is part 1. I'll come to part 2 in a minute. We had a few minutes left to tell you how these ladies need to address and carry themselves that won't ever get married, that's going to have all these divorces and separations, and going to end up being a widow by the time they are senior citizens. So I'm going to conclude by saying, ladies and men, of course, investing is a powerful tool. I'm going to tell you, investing is a powerful tool because it is some way for you to secure your financial future. If you don't have a basic understanding of investing, if you don't have any investment strategies, and if you don't have tips on how to get started, I can tell you, you'll probably die broke. I hate to tell you that, folks, but my job is to tell you whether you like it or not. Some of you are going to criticize me. I know you're going to call me tomorrow and criticize me. I told you forever. Been telling you forever. I like criticism, especially when you're talking about me, because I know when you talk to the old Henderson Real News Show information about it, at least, we give you facts. And you usually will call us the second time and apologize. And that's fine. So remember, educate yourself, avoid emotional decisions, and diversify your portfolio. That means the list of stocks and bonds and so forth that you have. So I want to say, with patience, discipline, and the right resources, you can unlock the world of investing and achieve financial success for yourself and your children. So that's what it's all about. Now, since I gave you that alarming information about all these females in America, in the world, that are having hard times getting themselves together because they not going to have a mate. And I told you that's not good news, but it's just happened to be a fact. And if you want to hear some good news, we have found that there are certain things that you have to understand. And there are some strategies that we can use for females, old and young, and we want to help you find a partner. I tell you, we are experts at research, and we want to help you find a partner so you can do the things that you need to do and make things work for yourself. And here are some strategies for the black female with children and how to find a husband or partner. Now, we know a lot of you all have been brainwashed to believe that your children don't need a father. I know a lot of you know that. I know a lot of folks like that. You say, I can do it better by myself. No, you can't. You can do something, but you can't do better. Every child needs a partner, a mother or father, or someone in that household other than that poor mother that got 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 children or more. And it's very difficult because some of the recommendations that I'm going to be suggesting are just that, recommendations or suggestions. Do what you want to do. But when you start looking for a partner, ladies and gentlemen, you can call them a husband or a wife or a partner, anything you want to call it. You first find a partner because you have to look at yourself as a single mother first. And you have to do what I call inner consciousness. You look at yourself and say, do I have any faults? Do I have the right temperament to be a wife or a partner? Do I know how to raise the children I have? We call this blending of self-inflection. You also want to look at it as a single mother and say, am I in a position where I can clearly communicate to others, to a potential husband, a potential partner? Am I mad all the time, fussing and fighting and cussing? Some of you are. You're not going to find anybody. That person you find going to abuse you and do you just like you do them. And then you're going to say to yourself, I want to change. So I'm going to learn how to use various social avenues, and I'm going to get out of this situation. I'm going to get out of this situation. I'm going to get something going. because I want to use some key strategies, and I'm going to focus on the first thing I'm going to focus on is myself. And then, number two, my child's well being. I'm going to be honest about my intentions. Child first, partner or mate, husband second, anything you want to call it. And then I'm going to make compartments in my life where I'm going to work with my children, going to do a little dating when I have time. I'm not going to be doing anything that's going to tamper with my child's affection. He or she will know that I will have certain boundaries. Every time I have a new date, I'm not going to bring him or her to my house. And some of the research says if you're going to start dating, you should not bring the person to your house and introduce them to your children until 6 or 9 months. Because most of you know when you're looking for a new mate, you're going to date, whether you're male or female, with or without children, 3 or 4 at the same time. And I know I'm going to get a lot of criticism for it. Somebody say, no, I don't do that. I don't do but one at a time. I'm looking at those that you met at the club that you didn't even know that you decided to be special with. And your first mate didn't even know about it. You're not going to tell it. And then you're going to go on that cruise. You're going to meet somebody on the cruise. Your church is going to have a convention in New York City or California somewhere. You're going to meet somebody there. So, folks, you got to be able to be honest about your intention. And when you meet new people, and I'm talking about research now, you got to do that inner research where you look at in the what I call your subconscious or in your mind and say, am I seeking the partner the right way? Say, I must have some kind of mental unwellness. I might be moving too fast. So, folks, then you got to say to myself, I'm going to set some clear boundaries in my life and prioritize my dating. And I'm going to decide when I will involve my children in this thing. And when you start dating, I tell you, after you decide on one person, don't be too fast. Give yourself 6 or 9 months. You know you're getting older every day, so you don't want to wait forever. 6 or 9 months with one person that have met all of your qualifications, all to be enough time for you to convince this person to become your husband, wife, or your partner. And then you introduce him or her to your children. And of course, have private conferences with your children and see if they are comfortable with this new person. Don't you go and tell them, we're going to go and buy some new clothes. So we're going to have a wedding Sunday, June bug. What wedding, Mom? Say, I got you a new daddy. And they ain't never seen the man. And they're going to go to church and you're going to make one of them little children a ring bearer. And they're going to be shocked. And they're going to say, Mama, I know him. Where you know him at? I ain't going to go into that. You know the real story. I don't want to talk about that, folks. I'm embarrassed to talk about it. But I'm talking now from a real experience that I heard about and know about personally. I know him, Mama. Boy, that's terrible. Terrible. But I'm telling you, folks, you have to think about some of these things because my job is to give it to you whether you like it or not. And you find that if you do it right, you can find that dating can be fun because you're getting ready to seek a long-term permanent relationship with someone new for yourself and for your children. But at the same time, you're going to prioritize your children first, and you're going to make sure that they have high standards. They'll learn self-discipline. You're going to teach them that they have to have some rules to follow in the house, study time. You're going to have to tell them that once a week we're going to have family meetings. You have to tell your child every time you get up, if you're 2 years old or older, you have to clean up your space where you sleep. You are going to have to do some work before you go to school in a household, sweep the floor, do something. And you're going to have to bring your homework home, and we're going to do it at the table or somewhere, and you're going to tell me what you learned that day. And if you want to do something that's good for yourself, ladies and gentlemen, you stay away from these online dating. Now, you can do it if you want, but our research showed that if you want to get in trouble, you get you some online dates going and get hooked up with the wrong person. I'm telling you, you're not going to be happy with it. So the best places to go, according to our information, is you need to go to community and social service events. Go to that gathering where they have a neighborhood association party. Go to those kind of places. Go to that church conference. And if you're a quiet person, or you're a minister, or you're a deacon, associate with some of those folks in your area of influence. Stay away from the clubs. And I know y'all not going to listen to me because you don't want to do what's best for yourself all the time. You want to do what your friend told you she is doing. And here she is, never had a husband, never will get one because she's going to the wrong place. Talk about, I know a man that's won $2,000 in bingo last night. I was right there. I don't know what he's going to do with all that money, but I'm sure get me some of it. Now you start dating him. Next time you're going to lose $3,000 and ask you to loan him some and get you hooked. And that's the way that usually happens because you like people that like the things you do. And if you keep on doing this, folks, you're going to die broke. Your children are not going to have anything but turmoil in their lives. They'll probably end up suffering mental unwellness. Many are not going to do well in school because you're getting older now, ladies, or husband, or father, and you're working so hard now, you feel that you're getting old and sick. And I want to tell you, folks, if you want to give us another call, we have a minute or two. We'll take one more. Call us if you can or want to, and we'll be able to talk to you and help you do the things you want to do because we are education specialists. We're not financial advisors. We're not marriage counselors. We are advisors. We give recommendations and suggestions. The only thing we know a lot about is organize, don't criticize. We're specialists in that because we can tell you anything you need to know about education and training, religion, leadership, economic development, and politics. We'll tell you how you can determine your destiny from birth to death. So if you want to talk to us online, you call the last, got 2 minutes left, 769-257-5211. Or you can see our comments on, or make some comments on YouTube at PCAP Media. Folks, I'm telling you, this is the Eld Henderson Real News Show that can always tell you how to change your life in 30, 60, or 90 days with information you won't even get in your church. Your preacher won't even tell you the things that I'm telling you now. We got to come in? Okay. So what if you don't make a lot of money, and what is the least you can invest? Many times folks start off with $25 if you don't make a lot of money. I don't have $25. Yes, you do. Stop buying those cigarettes. Stop buying those toenails and fingernails that you're wasting that money. Stop buying that expensive coffee when you leave home and stop by the place when you're going to work. Stop buying those extra clothing you don't need. You know you can't wear those clothes. They're not made for you. You done gained 50 pounds. Just because you saw it on TV, don't get it. Save that money and invest it. So, folks, I want to tell you, if you're interested in learning, call us. tomorrow at 601-201-1957 and say, I need a speaker. Say, I need